So welcome for this Satsang afternoon. Please. So Satsang, when I say this, what is this Satsang? And when I do Satsang, I first, mostly, when I don't know the field, explain what it is about. So Sat means reality. Sat is existence. Sat is the existence behind the existence is Sat, is that real existence, the truth, not truth but reality, Wirklichkeit in German. And Sangha is like coming together in this reality and also the collective, being a group of being in this reality. So Satsang means coming together to explore the truth, to explore the higher reality. And for the spiritual Hindu, the reality is the absolute, that beyond all division. Finally, this is the only Sat. Brahman is like that absolute, the self. So the idea is that we come together and we share to come closer to that reality. And a little step closer to that reality. We are in so much illusion, so much distance still, most of us, or all of us. And so this brings us a little closer to Satsang. So the aim is to make a step towards our essence, to experience our essence. So we don't speak about this or that, but about essence. And there's actually two big ways of Satsang I know. One is when you speak about an enlightened being, or divine. When you speak about divine, then the divine is present. Already then speaking about Babaji, his presence is there. Because mentioning God brings God in our midst. Mentioning God, speaking about God brings the divine, Goddess, into our midst. And we can feel it. And we also say in this tradition that the name of the divine is actually even stronger and closer to what it is than its form. The name already brings us closer. That's why repeating the name of God, if it's Krishna, if it's Rama, if it's Christ, if it's Yahweh, this is really getting in touch with the reality. If we are sensitive, if we do it in this consciousness, saying Krishna, saying Christ, saying Babaji, and getting in touch with the reality of this. That's one of the ways. So telling stories about divine, speaking about divine, brings the divine in our presence. And the other method of Satsang is that which is more like the Jnana Yogi, or the Advaita way of doing Satsang, is that we pose questions of what is real, and everything which is not real we put away, and at the end stays the real, so that all our doubts, our questions, they are questions which keep us in the delusion and illusion. And when we solve the questions, we are like with the Quran, we come into the reality. So that's Satsang. These are ways of doing Satsang. And I want to do this Satsang in two parts. First, I will share a little bit about my life and how I came to Babaji, and how I came that Schweibenalp was around, and how I came back again. So the Leelas what I experienced. And the second part, I will ask a few questions to you which have to do with our past, how to get our past clearer. We all are on the path, but there is always, we have these obstacles on the path, and so I would like to focus on intention. How we set intention, how this intention really can help us. If we follow our intention, we can reach the goal. So first we have to become aware what is even our intention, what do we want. first part. I grew up in Switzerland in a Jewish post Second World War family, and my family was quite atheistic, but I from the beginning had a big love for the biblical stories. When I went to biblical school, I really enjoyed very much all the stories about God and the Bible. I remember very well my teachers there and what they told. And I went to school, and then after my schooling, I went for a year to Israel to decide if I wanted to live in Israel or if I wanted to live in Europe. And there I had the experience of the 6-day war. And in that 6-day war, I decided that my life is not for the Jewish people, but my life is for humanity. That was a very big decision in my life. And at the same time, we were in the 68s, and so there was a big revolution of psychedelics and dropping out and trying a new consciousness and new age happening. And I was at the same time going that path and studying medicine. So I became a medical doctor. On the one hand, on the other hand, I was like friends with Timothy Leary and Baba Ramdas and did many crazy things and explored my consciousness also with psychedelics, but in a way of meditating and fasting and going in the mountains and not of Goa parties. And I'm one of those who survived it. Many also got lost on the way. I was luckily maybe had enough shamanic background from other lifetimes that it was for me good. And I must say that like the first time I was with a teacher of mine, he was my first teacher. He was a Swiss, but he was a Sufi. And he lived in Persia, and he asked me if I wanted to take LSD with him. And so after a long time of thinking about it, I did this and had a night with him. And I must say, in that night, I had very incredible experience. And the most important experience was that I saw that the only thing which exists is love. That there's no other thing that exists. Everything else was not real. That love is the basis of all reality. And the second thing I experienced was that everything was one. That there is no separation between anything in all existence. And so actually, I can only say my program for my life was already done. This is what I'm still working on today. This is what still my main issue is, love and unity. And this was a very deep experience, and again it's coming. This is repetitious in my life. Repetitious in my life to always walk again. Another thing in that same thing was that he was a very strict teacher, and we were with some people, and he showed me how arrogant I was with those people. And that I was in a way, and that was, he showed me in, I was very strong to see, on the one hand I'm having this high experience, on the other hand I'm shown there's still a lot to learn about my personality, a lot. So this was my first program. I finished medical school and I went to India and did Buddhist meditation, intensive Buddhist meditation, and I did Vipassana for 3, 4, 5 years. And I started to be a psychotherapist and psychiatrist, both for Gestalt therapy and bodywork and all this, and gave many courses and had many people I worked with, and I enjoyed that very much. And at a certain point I got in that what which we call like the dark night of the soul. I became so depressed and so unhappy, and I really was in a deep, deep crisis, and I didn't know, even though I had everything I wanted, all success, everything. And in this deep, deep crisis, I saw a picture of Babaji. Actually, the picture which when you come in is on the side. It was on the book of Malti, inside, and I saw this picture, and, oh, this is me, I said. And I said, oh, but this is not me, so this is like the larger me. This is where I'm part of. And then I read the book, and then I dreamed about Babaji, and then somebody had been there, and we met Neela, and we met 2 or 3 people, and then we wrote to Babaji and asked him if we could go there. And my wife of that time, and my daughter, she was 4 or 5 years old, and then we decided maybe this is going to help Sundar or Bobby as well in this terrible crisis. And so we went to India, and already on the trip I realized something is pulling me. It's like, I'm not traveling by myself. I don't know how I travel there. And already that going there was like something very, very strange, arriving there. And so you arrive in India, this is 1979, and you go in a bus, and the bus is so loud that you can't hear a word, and it's so full with chicken and people and dirt, and the windows are so chattering, and it is so hot in there, and one woman lies on you, nowhere, and the man sits on you, and you know, it's like just amazing. I mean, I had been in India before doing Vipassana meditation, but that was the real thing. And suddenly the car stops, and everybody gets out, and there's some food going on, and you have to be careful what you eat, what can you not eat or eat. Fantastic dal with chapati, I tell you, incredible. And he goes on the trip, you know, and chai, the whole Indian experience, and arriving in Haldwani, sleeping there the next day via Muniraji. They told us go to the shop of Muniraji. He takes you to the dam site, going with a little jeep somewhere, again with people on the top and people beneath and people behind you, and there you get there, and there's nobody anymore. All these many people gone, 3 chai shops there, with many porters and many people, and always come to me, come to me, come to me. And you know, to which one do you go? For which one? You start already, if I go to him, he gets nothing. They all are very hungry, they all had nothing yet to eat that day, they have a few cookies and a little bit of tea, so there you go. Your first conflict, to which one do you go, you know? So finally you get one porter, because all want to carry your luggage, and he becomes the porter of the next 20 years, you know? It's like every time you go there, he will be there for you, ready. I am your porter, you belong to me. And so there's this constant thing about light and joy, but also always the shadow between it of the difficulties of how this life of these people is, and how we come there with everything we have and they have nothing. How can you do this? And you can share a little bit with one, but can you share with all of them? So going to Babaji is not just going into heaven, it is from the first minute on ticks and stings, and and you arrive at Babaji. First thing is to take a bath in the river, go up in the ashram, and it was the beginning of Navaratri, the first day, so it was full house, and we had some corner somewhere in the big hall, just our family somewhere in the hall, and Babaji was giving darshan in the gardens. There was one row of women, one row of men, and we were sitting there, you know. He was painting a little bit, and we were singing the Om Namah Shivaya, which Prasadini, one of those she played last night. Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya. Sheila playing, and you see how slowly it's getting dark, and it's very, very romantic. And you see down in below us in the riverbed how the farmers are cleaning their animals, and they're shouting and screaming, and life is going on. We're sitting up there, very, very special, very, very special. So he called us. So we had our gifts. We had known you bring gifts to him. So I brought him a book, The Keys of Enoch, which for me was like I had wanted to find out what the hell is this book about, because it's a revelation book, which I knows in the beginning. And I brought in this book, and I brought in a shofar, which is like, you know, the conch which the Jews use. It's like a ram's horn, which you, and some nice candy and so. So the book, he looked in and he wrote into it his name, Om Namah Shivaya, with beautiful, which now I still have, and said every word is true and continue with this. He said, don't come to me and I know it. No, continue with this. And the shofar passed on, and as we all know how it, most of us who had been with Babaji know how this was with him. So I told him that I was in a very bad state and that I didn't feel good for months and all this. And he said, yes, you Dr. Ashram, and you will take care, you will be good, you will be good. And so we started to be there a few days, see, you know, how it is, looking, everybody was shaved, people were always doing pranam to this person. I had never been in front, you know, with an avatar. For me, the avatar, I didn't really believe that exists. For me, as a Jew, God is in heaven, and we are men on earth. And, you know, there's no... So this was there was the new thing. With the Buddhist teachers, there were still human beings, there were teachers. That was understandable. What was going around this being was quite difficult. So my observing what is going on, but what really impressed me was the love these people had for that being, you know? Do you remember the barber? What was his name?
Moti.
Huh? Moti Baba.
Yeah.
This man, he had such a love for Babaji that through him, it was even easier to feel Babaji than Babaji himself, because Babaji himself was like ununderstandable, because he was not a teacher who gave you a book and said, read that or do this. No, he was off the wall. Every moment he did something you didn't expect, you know, every moment. So it was really another story. But with Moti Bhagwan, when he was shaving your head and he was singing to the Divine Mother songs, he felt, here is something very incredible. And the heart was starting to melt. So he worked with us through every stone and through every person and everything. He would work with us. And so the days went by, and the first Navaratri fire was, and we all went down the stairs, and there he stood and looked, you know, to go over to the other side, where there were already 2 new temples and a whole new reality. Babaji had us all create a new level of reality. And we had to throw stones at the wall, and then big stone would come down, lots of things would come down, and we would transport them away. And then slowly a new level of reality. So by work, a new reality, a new level. And I saw this very symbolic, like a new level. Because if you would build something on the level of the riverbed, as we heard it, this monsoon comes and boom, it's gone. But he was building something on a higher level, which would have more stability. So this is what we thought. We were all full of splinters everywhere, because the stones over there were not round stones, but. So my doctor work was every evening with a plastic sack to go around and all these terrible feet and hands, because we had to take little bowls of metal, and then we put the stones in, and then we put them on the head, and we walked 50 meters and we threw them away. And then we came back. It was difficult, so the shovel was so bad and old that the shovel was a shovel on one side, and then they had a string on the other side, so one was pushing and one was pulling on the shovel. And the axes were so broken that it was impossible to get it was amazing. And so suddenly, you know, first you think, why don't they have better things, and why don't we do it differently? And suddenly you realize it's all about karma yoga. Babaji's teaching was karma. It's not about what you do, and it's not about the result. It's about intention and about motivation and about giving ourselves in the work. And so this has been, that was very interesting to see. So I'm going back to going over the river. So we're on the one side of the river, and he calls me, first time really, and he takes my blanket, which I had put him on the horse and sat on the horse, took my baby on his lap, and I had to guide the horse over to the other side. And I was so excited that I did anything wrong, you know, whatever. So anyway, we got on the other side. They did their first fire ceremony. It was the first fire ceremony. I don't remember much of that. It was for me ununderstandable. And on the way back, we went again all the way to the river back. And then when we stood there at the wall and we were all standing there, he was calling me again and said, "Your name?" And I started, "Robert, you want name from me?" I said, "Please, Babaji." He said, "Your name's Sundar. Sundar Singh Chauhan." So he gave me then the name. And that was like, my life changed. My life changed. I will tell you how I became a devotee, not then, but my life changed then. Because there was a new essence with receiving that name, and a new goal on another level. So since then, I'm Sundar, and so this continued as I working, eating, living there, seeing the things. And there was a very nice Italian lady there who was very close to Babaji, named Janaki Rani. And she had started an ashram in southern Italy already. And Babaji had given her the duty to do this. And there's lots of stories about that also. And she saw me and she thought, this young Swiss man, I want his help. Because there were 3 women in charge of that ashram, Malti, she and Fakirui. So she went to Babaji and said, "I want to know this man and all this." So, okay. So she invited me to come to her room and talk to me. And that's where it really happened. I'm telling you now how he swallowed me. She loved Babaji in such a way, it's just unbelievable. And her eyes were expressing that in a way that you couldn't see. So she was telling me stories and who he was, and that, you know, and what he was, and how she loved him. And her eyes become more and more loving, and at a certain moment, Babaji was coming out of her eyes. It's unbelievable. Walked through me. That was it. I stood up, I ran down to the Kirtan hall. Babaji was sitting in a swing, in a Hollywood swing. And for the first time, I really did full pranam and completely, and said, "I want to be your disciple. I give you everything." And he said, "Slowly, slowly." I was already dead. And this was the start. So this is my start. I went then every half a year there to stay some months and learn. I went the first 2 years to Cistanino. I helped to create that ashram. And as I was a psychotherapist and I had many groups, I brought them along because they should also learn and do arti and all this. And so I did groups there. They were my training groups, so I brought them there. And for the Italian ladies, this was very strange because they think, we don't need any therapist, we don't need anything. We only need Babaji. How can he bring all this? So, very funny. So after 2 years, I come once again back to Harakan and I'm doing my thing in Harakan. And one day, Janaki Rani comes also, like a week or 2 later. And we are all at the Rifa side. And there's a long train of people going slowly with Babaji up the stairs. And at a certain point, she is with Babaji, and so, and Muniraji in front, I'm in the back with other of our workers, you know. So people start to look back. And they look at me, you know. Smiling, grinning over their face. Something's going wrong there, I think. Something really going wrong there. Even Muniraji, like an angel, but somehow is laughing back there. So what's going on there? So the evening comes, and in the evening, everybody comes like here to the arti, and Babaji comes after 3/4 of the arti in, for the Haryakandi, yes, comes in, and sits on his asana. Yeah, he would sit up there on that thing, and from then on gives darshan, which means you can have an interaction with him. The main thing is our inclination, the bowing or whatever you want. You go and you have a interaction with him, and in that interaction, something happens which usually is the next step in the story with him, which is a story of undoing your neurosis as well as possible and showing you your divine essence. So he was working always on two levels. One level is that we realized in our bliss being around him that we are divine beings. I mean, it was possible to feel the divine in us. It was like feeling like, it's like sitting in art and feeling, this tremendous divine we have. But the other thing was also, after maybe a day or two of bliss, is that many things happen to you moment by moment. And this is what people tell me also happens here to people when they come for a week or 10 days or a week or a year. There's a lot of things happening which also confront you with yourself, with that part of us which doesn't love himself or doesn't love herself, or all these thoughts we have to become aware of the thoughts, and all these things which are in us, which are our obstacles. And so that's happening at Darshan, okay? So at Darshan, he was calling me, Sundar, and then he was saying to me, "You're bringing trouble for Junkie. You're making trouble to that lady." And I fall together, completely terrible. So that was it for that evening. I had a terrible night. And the next evening, he said...
Could you sleep at all?
Huh?
Could you sleep at all?
Not much, not a little. So the next day, after the day in the evening darshan, he told me, "Please sing a song. Sundar, sing a song." There are 150 people there, I should sing a song. What song? But I just had to wait a moment, and a Hebrew prayer came out of me. Very strong Hebrew prayer. The prayer of unity, actually. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, and so on and so on and so on. And it came out in much more strength, anyway. And he himself, he tells you something, but already he talks with someone else. So you do what he says, but he's not even there. You think he's there, no. But he is there, but you think he's not there. So after that he says, you sell your house in Cisterino and you do ashram in Switzerland. That was, and he told me, and I said, how should we do it? 3. Body, mind and soul. So, that was it. Much more I never got.
That again, what was 3?
Body, mind and soul.
But what was the phrase?
The 3, I should do all. The ashram, the center should be a center for all levels of human.
I see.
Spiritual, mental, physical, for all levels. And I went home with that, and this is the result after 42 years. Okay? And I can only say, without his support and without that praise, without that, it wouldn't have never been possible to do something like this. It was like, and all his brothers, all my brothers and sisters coming in, and many people like this is giving so much strength. And then in me came the thought of the center of unity, and I wrote in, can it be called center of unity? Yes, it has to be center of unity. And when we found this place, I first had much to do. We wrote to him, and writing now is like I write and in the answer, but at that time in 1981, it took 3.5 weeks to go to Lodzi, and he took some days and then took 3.5 weeks back by airmail letter, and you got some printed little things, and so, but by then we had gotten it, and we got it, and so I don't want to get more into that. I'd like to just share, for the moment, one more story with him, and then I will open also for questions or so about Babaji. Yes, it is actually later, after 9 years, I left with my family, because I had again 3 children with a new wife, and I left to do my profession in town and come here every day, every week up, and so I was once in a week here, or when feasts, celebrations were here, but I had a practice in the house out in Spitz down. And Babaji was not there anymore for a long time. Babaji had left his body in '84, and his successor Munyadi agreed with that I had to take care of my family and couldn't just live in the ashram, because it was like not yet as it is here, and it was never my source of income, this place. It has been my sadhana. So I had been there for 50 years and come up here and go here, and we had started in 2004 to do these Purnimas, where everybody comes together like now, and we do Havan, and we do Arti, and we come together as sisters and brothers, and we celebrate. And so this was in Lonen, in Holland. It was in Holland, and it was we were sitting also at least 200-300 people there. It was fantastic, and we were singing Om Namah Shivaya in the night. And when we sing for a long time, the same bhajan, you know, we come in and we close our eyes, we really come closer to ourselves. This is, for me, one of the most powerful instruments of transformation is singing kirtan. It is also known all over the world by Hindu religion that one of the ways for completion is kirtan, to repeat the name of God forever, like meditation and everything, one of the ways. So I was sitting there and chanting, and suddenly he says inside, "You go back on Schweibenalp." And I said, "No, I don't want to go back to Schweibenalp. I'm well down here in Schweiz. I have my practice, I have my garden, I have my kids. I go to seminars there and there in the world, for you and for whatever, but this place up there, this is difficult to live." Okay, next evening, you go back to Schweibenalp, and you either close it down or you make it big. It can't stay as it is. So I say, "Oh no, I don't know. And this is not really my plan of life, and you know, what can I do?" So at the same time, the people in Lonen, they were building a Babaji temple. Like a temple as it is in Herakan, it's a copy of it. And they had no money, so they wanted money. So we all, like we do now for the Russians, we give money. So we all brought money in. And it was like, they did tombola. Like, we all bought like tickets with numbers, 20 numbers. It was like $20 or whatever. And then I got like 10 of those, $200. So I got many, many, many numbers, you know, for tombola. And so everybody had bought some things. And then the evening came the last, and Alok was doing the tombola, so he had a big bag, and out of the bag he took the numbers, and there were 14 prizes, and there was, you know, the 14th prize was little, and then somewhere came the Francesco's multi, and it went on and on, things from Babaji, which people had given, and the last was a beautiful green burqa, but really, the most thick, beautiful silk in dark, like the green I'm wearing in the morning. That's the copy of it, and it was like from Babaji, and it was the first prize. And they brought all these things and showed everybody, and the green shirt says to me, "I come to you." And I said, "Shirts don't speak." So you must know, I am not a player. I don't like to gamble. I don't like to winning gambles. Then when you win, and I don't like to win in place, because when you win, all the others don't win. It's like, it's not a good place to be the one who has won. I don't like that anyway. So I'm not kind of a player in these things. So there it goes. We go through the tombola, prize number 4, prize number 1, from the last one to the last, you know, and I'm sitting there, and for the first prize, the top number took it out. I said, okay, I was right. That was it. Again he had me. So I closed my practice, I sold my house, and I moved up here again. This is 2007, but then we're back up here. And since then we're working here on the Center of Unity, and we've gone again, you know, and this place has had many beautiful times and many difficult times. A place like this goes up and down on the material level and on the spiritual level. You can't always, who comes, who doesn't come, doesn't come. And we did many mistakes and we did many good things. And Center of Unity has gone through many, many phases. And I can only say this now, the last 1-2 years, more and more, has become the most best time we ever had. I must say, we have this material abundance. It is quite good. We are living well. Everything is. We are at a certain point. We have to make a next big step, but the first step is done. We have this house, and the temple is strong also. And we have many young people. And that's amazing. We have people between 25 and 35 who love to be here, a real crew of team. Those who saw in the first evening our team, we're having a lovely team, and the temple is flourishing, and so it is nice. It is a good time here. Yes, this is about kind of a little bit my the story with very small things on it. And Babaji did many leelas. Babaji, there's many stories I could also tell about. And in the other satsangs, I think we tell more stories of Babaji. But my wish actually is to take the next time I have for something else, because to listen to stories is one thing, and to feel good about them, but the other thing, how do I get there? You know, nice, they're having this nice, but where are our obstacles in our life? Where are we standing in our life? And so my interest is now, actually, I think the only way we get to it is to, I think the most important thing on the spiritual path is naturally surrender, but as important as surrender is intention. Is that we really find out in our life what do we want. And it really doesn't matter if somebody chooses to become a burglar, he should become a good burglar. If somebody chooses to wanting to be the best tennis player on the planet, he should do this. And if he wants a family and he wants children, or if he wants to be money, or if he wants powerful, it is this. But important is to set the intention, to know what we want. And this changes in life at times. It is not that it will always stay. We will reach a goal, or we will not, and we will realign, but intention has always to be. And the question is, what is our spiritual intention also? You know, what do we want? Do we just want to be nice people who are helpful? Or do we really want to evolve into a higher form of human being? And I believe that the time we're living in now is asking from us to evolve into a higher form of human being. I think that what also the New Age calls the new consciousness, a new human consciousness, is what it's about. And I don't think that it is so possible to just continue on the horizontal level of what life is, but that we really need to ascend, that we really have to evolve into the potential we have. And the potential of the human being is incredible. Each of you has a potential which is almost immeasurable, almost endless in spiritual possibility. And what limits us is our beliefs about ourselves. Our beliefs about ourselves, which are given us through thousands of years of education and lives. We believe we are small human beings and we are a piece of meat and we're going to die. But death is not necessary. That's already a big lie. Death is not necessary. It's just we are just used to that. But it is not necessary. It's also possible to become the rainbow body or to live for 200 years or 300 years. There's so many other possibilities than to just follow what everybody does, die between 60 and 80 on a heart attack or on cancer. It is not necessary. We have lots of genetic information, but we can also undo this genetic information. And we do this with intention and with light work. We do this with prayers, with kirtan, with our work. But it means that we break up our beliefs in ourselves. And this is what also Kaku said yesterday. Babaji said to us, you are Bhagwan, you are Bhagwan, you are Bhagwan. You're a God, you're a God, you're a God, you're a God, you're a God. We are all divine beings and we don't believe it. We don't want to believe it. And we just feel this small human. We are not aware that above these 7 chakras, there's another 7 chakras. There's another 7 chakras. There is the higher self. There's the Christ self. There is, or the Buddha self. There is our divine being is so much bigger than our small little person who eats and sleeps and goes through the little daily chores. And I believe that at this point of our evolution, we have had many, many incarnations to play with this. Many incarnations. Maybe 5,000 years, maybe 10,000 years, to incarnate again and again in this form and play samsara and come and go between astral levels and this level. But humanity has gone to a point of no return. I mean, we are now at a point where things are going to change on this planet. And the fact is, we are in quarantine. We are not in touch with our cosmic brothers. We are not in touch with the devas. We're not in touch with the gods. No, but we are divine beings. So why are we not in touch? Because we are a violent species who has been now put into quarantine. So let's get out of quarantine. Let's connect. And so let's connect not only on this planet, let's be immodest. We have to be immodest. We can continue to be modest and have a false humility of, yes, I am just, tired and not well, and life will go over soon, and I will die, and yes. No, we have to be immodest and say, we are light beings, we are divine beings, and we go beyond. And Babaji also said we are Bhagwan, and we should be like him. So it is about really strengthening our body, really opening, getting wide and big. And this is what I wanted to